Welcome everybody to our Louisville Genealogical Society meeting. Are going to have a membership minutes. Donna, you want to go ahead with the December minutes? And then I'm going to ask for an approval or whatnot. So you may have to unmute yourself if you're the one going to ask for approval of the minutes. So go ahead, Donna.
Okay. President John Rattel opened the meeting at 1 p.m. There was a moment of silence for our friend and fellow member, Deborah Renard, who passed away on December 12th. The new officers for 2022 were sworn in. They are Jean Lohr, President, Amy Wisotsky, Vice President, Donna Brewster, Recording Secretary, Yvette Norsworthy, Corresponding Secretary, Maureen Fitzgerald, Treasurer, Amelia DeBusman, Membership Registrar, and John Rattel, Past President. I wasn't sure if I should add him or not, but I did. It had been planned for January the 11th, 2022 general meeting and the program to be presented in person. However, due to the increase in COVID-19 infections, in-person meetings, programs, and workshops will be postponed until at least March. Betty Graham introduced Mick Sullivan from the Fraser History Museum, who gave a truly enjoyable talk entitled Incredible Kentuckians. Respectfully submitted, Donna Brewster.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion, Nancy.
Okay, that's Nancy.
I'll second it.
Betty seconded it. All in favor, raise your hand or wave or something. I can't, most of you aren't on by face. All right, any opposed? Hearing none.
Right.
The minutes will be accepted. All right, Maureen's going to give a treasurer's report.
Hi, I have two reports to present to you. One is the Treasurer's Report for November and December 2021, and the second is an end of year budget report for 2021. In November, December, LGS had an income of $1,935. Our expenses were $2,797.15. Our checking account balance as of December 23rd, 2021 was $14,652.27. And at that point in time, we had 319 members. That treasurer's report was approved at the last board meeting. The end of the year budget report, for those of you who are on the board, you'll notice that it has been amended and some corrections made. Our total income for 2021 was $7,412.48. Our total expenses were $7,986, which left us with a deficit of $573.52, which wasn't bad since we had to buy a couple of computers to enable us to do Zoom meetings, and we didn't have a lot of events that we usually have, so I think we did pretty well. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve that second presentation there?
I so move.
Howard moved to second.
This is Trish. I'll second.
Trish, Aaron second the motion. All in favor, wave or say something or whatever.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we will accept the treasurer's reports. Okay, I do want to note that we have several board positions that have not been filled yet. The biggest of which, of course, is the quarterly editor. I think we've set out a blast on what that requires, and I really encourage anybody who would like to help with that. We've even talked about breaking it up into a committee instead of a single person. So please let us know if you're at all interested in helping with the quarterly, the lines and bylines. The other positions, we do have one volunteer to help with the seminar. We have a seminar advisor and one helper. It would be nice if somebody would agree to be the chair of next fall's seminar. We also need somebody for the library and the sergeant at arms. Right now, since we're not meeting at the church, those people don't have as much to do, but those are important positions for us. I also want to, and if anybody's willing to volunteer for any of these things, you can let me know. You can send a message through the website, I think, to me. If you don't know how to get a hold of me, my email address should be on the website. If you just look for Lou or Jean. Okay, we did send out a blast about a week ago. Amy sent it out about the care and concern efforts, and she's already gotten some people responding. It would help if I could talk right here. So I'm really grateful to Amy for starting up that. This is a way to let us know people who are maybe having illnesses or whatnot. We send cards to and that kind of thing. Okay, I was talking about the upcoming programs. And the February the board did vote to go ahead and stay on Zoom in February. We'll be reevaluating when the board meets, I'm sure, on the second Tuesday of February. But for right now, both of February's programs will be on Zoom. The February 8th program is the Architecture of Samuel Plato. And the February workshop is the 1950 census, and we all ought to be really excited about that. I think for many of us, maybe not all of us, for many of us, the 1950 census was the first census we appeared in. So hey, we all can find ourselves in that one. Okay, I'd like to introduce Nancy then, who's going to be our speaker today on FamilySearch memories. Nancy has been a very active member from the moment she moved to Louisville, I think. And she says she started genealogy when she was, what, 12 years old, 50 years ago or something. I shouldn't say that and how old she was. Okay.
That's right. When I was
Anyway,
12.
a long time ago, she started into genealogy. And one of the things that some of you newer members may not know is that before COVID hit, Nancy used to do evening workshops for people who couldn't come to our daytime events and workshops. And at one of the local libraries here in Louisville, she did evening workshops. So she's been a busy, busy girl. And today she's going to talk about memories, making memories, recording memories. Take it away, Nancy. And thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you, Jean, for that introduction. And yes, I did teach over at the local libraries. We taught at St. Matthew's to start with, and then they remodeled and we went over to Bonaire. But since COVID, we have been restricted to our home office here and Zooming. But hopefully in the next year, I look forward to maybe getting back over to St. Matthew's and doing some evening classes. So we're going to have to wait out COVID and then see about getting over there. And I look forward to doing that. I want to thank Jean for the introduction. today we're going to talk about FamilySearch.org and their tool called Memories. And before we do, though, I have a few things. If you have some questions during the presentation today, if you go to the chat, which is in your menu bar at the bottom, and just click on, well, once you click on chat, you're going to get a little screen on the right, and you put a Q, because then we'll know it's a question you have for us, and then put your question. So anytime during the presentation, you can go down to chat and post a question. And then Betty Graham's going to field those questions, and we'll deal with them at the end of my presentation. So that's what we're going to do as far as questions. The handout is posted also in the chat. So if you go to the chat and click on that handout, there is a PDF file that probably is more useful to everybody. You can download it there, but it's also posted on our website. If you go to the event today, Family Search Memories, at the very bottom underneath the log in where you went to register for that class, the handout is posted there, and it'll be there till midnight tonight. So if that's easier for you, you can go to the website and access it there. But if you have any problems with it, just email me and I'll send you a copy. So that's the handout. Also, I had a number of people ask me if this was going to be recorded. And it is going to be recorded. There's a couple people who couldn't make it today because of all our great doctor's appointments. And I told them it would be recorded. It takes about 5 days to a week to get it posted on our website. So look sometime next week, the first of next week, and it should be posted there behind our member wall. So it will be posted there. So moving on to our presentation today. Before I get started, I have a couple questions for you as genealogists. The very first one is, what are your genealogical memories? As genealogists, one of the first things we do is start creating a tree, and we create that tree on some private software on our computer. Although the next generation of genealogists tends to go online. There's wiki trees, there's Ancestry, there's a number of subscriptions, MyHeritage, where you can post and build your tree. And so we start collecting data and building our tree. And then to support that tree, we start gathering those delightful documents. Some are much more extraordinary than others. If we find that marriage certificate for grandma and we've never seen it before, we get a little excited, and that's kind of a special one that we put in our memories. So we start building memories around our tree, documents to support our tree. But if you're like me, I love photos. I love photos of my current family, and I love photos of my ancestors. And anytime I can meet a new cousin, that's one of the first questions I ask is, do you have any photos of great grandma or great great grandma or family get-togethers? And so those are precious memories that we kind of hang on to. So what are your memories as a genealogist? That's the first question. And then my second question is, where are you storing those memories? Do you have a bookcase where you're storing photo albums and binders with your data? Or do you have a computer where you're storing digitally? You're putting your photos and your documents, you're connecting them to a tree, and you're saving them. But my next question is, are you backing them up? And you should have them, according to the experts, we should have it backed up to 3 different places. So if you're building a tree on WikiTree, or you've built a tree on, let's say, Ancestry, don't count on that tree always being there on Ancestry. Where else are you saving? You could drop down and build a GEDCOM and save that tree somewhere else, but we need to save it, maybe in our personal computer, on a hard drive, portable hard drive, maybe a flash drive, or maybe we're saving it to other places. I used to make flash drives and share them with my mother-in-law because we both did research. So if something happened at her house, my data would be at her house and I could access it. So we have to think about what's going to happen to all those memories when we're not researching anymore, when something happens to us. Is that closet of photo albums going to go to somebody who values them and knows about them? So where are your memories at? Where are you storing them? And then the last question I want to ask you is, who are you saving all these memories for? Is it just for you, your own interest, or do you want your memories to extend farther, to be used by others, to be enjoyed by others? So today we're going to kind of deal with those three questions, and hopefully I'll give you some answers to them. So to start with, I'm going to share my screen and go to FamilySearch.org, since that's the site we're going to use today. And does everybody see FamilySearch on their screen right now? I hope you do. Do I have anybody out there that can give me
Yes.
affirmative? All right.
I see it.
Good. I'll probably ask confirmation here a couple of times. So if those of you will unmute and tell me for sure that you're seeing what I'm presenting, that'll make me happy. So here is the homepage for FamilySearch.org. And this is where we're going to work today. I think FamilySearch.org has got an amazing section to their website. It's an amazing website, and it's chock full of more stuff than I can actually even wrap my head around. Well, one of the places I've discovered in the last few years is their section called Memories. But before we can get there, if you're new to FamilySearch, you do need to create an account. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, you either can sign in if you've already created an account, or if you haven't, you'll create one. And it's real simple. You basically are setting up a password. And the reason they have you set up an account is FamilySearch is a very interactive website. And for its protection and for our protection, they want to know who's using it. And if anybody violates their restrictions, they're going to get rid of them. So it's to protect our data, and it's to protect the website. I am registered, so I'm going to click on sign in, and here's my sign in username and password, and I click into sign in, and it takes me to the home screen as a registered user here. So it comes up, it's a little personalized. This woman, the colored picture, I have no idea, that's part of FamilySearch, but the Phoebe Rexroad, this is my third great grandmother. Isn't she adorable? So they kind of put some of your personal things on your homepage when you log into FamilySearch. Now, up here, I'm going to kind of give you a tour of FamilySearch to start with, because it's important that you know where certain sections are. And then we're going to drill into how to use the memories. So to start with, up here at the top, you have your menu, and you've got family tree. So if you click on the family tree, you can either start building your tree if you haven't built it yet, or you're going to use use the tree. Now, let me explain the family tree and FamilySearch. It is not like the trees on Ancestry, where you create your tree and you can choose to make it public or private. But it's read-only for most people. You can allow a cousin or a relative to share your tree and make some, and work with it. But basically, people can look at your tree, but that's all they can do is look at it. This tree on FamilySearch is what I call a collaborative tree. When FamilySearch created their website, 15, 16 years ago, as we moved into the 21st century, they went to a collaborative mode for genealogists. And that's what their website does. It allows you to all build on the same tree. So if I start my tree with myself, and then I add my parents, and then I add my grandparents, by the time I get to my great-grandparents, probably somebody has already added them to the tree. And when I put in Andrew Lincoln Simmons, my great-grandfather, sure enough, it tells me we have a gentleman named Andrew Lincoln Simmons, and here's the data. Does this match your ancestor? And if it does, you click on it, and bingo, you drill right into this huge tree, universal tree. So I'm going to show you real quick what the tree looks like here. Now, I have to make, everybody gets a little concerned here. When you register and put your tree in, anybody who's living, only you can see them. So here are Howard and I in the middle here. And if you opened up Family Tree and looked for Howard or Nancy, you would probably not even find us. You might find any of my grandparents. This whole line of ancestors over here have all passed away. So you would access them, and they would have all the data with them. But people who are still living only say living, and that's all you would see. It might say living Roberson, I think. So here's Howard and I, our parents, but here's our children and their spouses. You would not be able to see this. I can build my tree and put them in, but it's private to everybody else. I even have my grandchildren in here. So we can slip over here, and here are 3 of the 4. This newest one doesn't have his photo in yet. And here are 3 more. So I can build and put photos into theirs and put data into their profile pages, but nobody can see it but me. So I want everybody to get that straight. So notice all the photos. All these pictures that I have on my ancestors are on their profile page, and I put them in through the memories, which is what we're going to look at today. Okay, so this is what the tree would look like. So I'm going to go back up here to FamilySearch homepage, and I'm going to go to the second tab, which is search. Now I've done full 1 hour. When I did in the evenings, I would do an 1.5 to 2 hour talks on just how to research using FamilySearch. And that's what this tab's for. You can go look for records. You can go look for people in the tree that you might be related to, see if they have documents. You can go to genealogies. And this is a tab where if you take your software at home and you make a GEDCOM of it, you can upload it to genealogies here, and all people can do is look at it. They cannot interact with it. So it's a safe place to put your research if you don't want people messing with it. Here's the card catalog for FamilySearch, digital books, which is a whole talk in itself, and Research Wiki. So these are all your research tabs. We're going to go to this third one, memories. And when I pull it down, we only have 4 little subtitles. We have an overview, which is FamilySearch.org's kind of simplified explanation of what memories is about. I'm going to spend about 40 minutes with you today telling you what it's about. Then there's your gallery. That's where you put all your memories, your documents, your photos, your stories. That's where you store. It's kind of like your closet at home, but it's on FamilySearch. People, you can search for people in the tree and see if there's photos or documents you might use. And the find mode is kind of interesting. You can use the find to go even look for not only people, but you can look for topics. For example, I was just going to show you this because I don't use it that much and I should. You can search text, and let's say I'm searching for my German ancestors and they're in Berks County. I can put in Berks County and it pulls up all kinds of memories that people have put in on Berks County. And I can kind of, glaze through this and look for anything that might catch my interest as far as my relatives. So it's another research area where you can also go to. But we're going to go back to galleries. That's where we're going to spend our time. So we go to memories, we're going to go to gallery. And like I said, I'm going to kind of do a tour with you quick here. And I'm going to show you my personal gallery. So this is my gallery right here in front of you. It looks like a ton of photos, but I have more than photos in here. When you get to your gallery, there are 3 sections to the menu. There's this menu bar right here at the top on the upper left-hand corner. There's a menu bar over here on the right. And then we're going to talk about this entire left side. So let's go first over here. This little icon here usually means thumbnail, and that's what you're looking at on my gallery, are the thumbnails of all my memories in FamilySearch. Now I can designate, do I just want to look at photos? So that's what the little camera means. And if I click on the camera, it should just bring up photos. Now I do have a couple documents in here that I need to toggle as photos, because when you bring in a photo or a document, it defaults to photo. So if, let's say this one here, I can bring it up and go to actions and then change it to a document. And when I click that, it's going to be gone when I go back to my gallery, because it's not in the photos anymore. It would be listed in documents. Takes a few seconds for FamilySearch to act on anything you do. So that's your photo. This one over here with the little pages, I'm going to show you that next. That's all your documents. So here are all my documents that I have found. Some of them I've used my Photoshop or Paint on my computer to highlight or underline, but these are volumes of documents that I've put in and then attached to my tree. So let's talk about that. Some people really don't like the tree on FamilySearch. So if you don't want to work with this tree, you can still use memories to store your photos and your documents. And let me give you some reasons why you would want to do that. Number one, it's another place you can back up your data, your documents, your photos. It doesn't cost a thing. It's free. And there's no limit on memory. So unlike your paid cloud places where you might back up your data, where you have to pay so much annually to store it, this would be an area where you could store documents, photos, and even stories that you've written for free. And you don't have to attach them to the tree. If you don't want to use their tree, that's fine. You could just use their space to store your documents and your photos. So I wanted to make that clear. So here's photos, here's documents. This middle icon with a little book, this is stories. Now, this is the next level of genealogy for, I think, for genealogists. Personally, as a genealogist, I've given up the quest to make a 400-page book on my family. My maiden name is Simmons, and at one time I thought I would want to put all my Simmons research in a book and bind it and sell it. I've totally decided not to do that. What I've decided to do now is write short little ancestral profile stories. So right in front of you are a few that I've done. Here's Jonathan Mason Grover. He was a Revolutionary War soldier who came from Maryland to Kentucky. He's one of my few Kentuckians. And so I have a story here on him. And here's some photos I put with it. And here's the story. And I try to make my stories 800 words. I try to work on to up to 1,200. And we were talking a little bit before we started today about blogging. I do have a blog. I post these in the blog. I post these stories on FamilySearch, and I also post them in Facebook. I have 23 nieces and nephews, and I have found that this is what makes them excited about family history. If I give them a short 800 to 1,200 word story about an ancestor, they'll take that time to look at the pictures. Well, the pictures excite them and pull them in, and then they'll read it. And then I'll get comments about, oh, Aunt Nancy, that is so great. I didn't know about that. My 500-word book that I would make, I find people look in it to find themselves. There I am, and that's it. They don't read too much of it, and it's not in story format. So I have found that these stories are a great way to pull in cousins, grandchildren, nieces and nephews to get excited about your research and to share. We're going to talk about that sharing, because FamilySearch is really big, like I said, on collaborating, but also sharing your information. So this one here, June Elizabeth, that's my grandmother. This is her father, her Ernest. So I've got many more I haven't uploaded yet to FamilySearch, but it's a great place to post them. And I've actually had second and third cousins find my stories in FamilySearch and contact me because of that story. So you've got your gallery again that you're storing, all your photos, all your documents, your stories, and then this little headphone here up here in the menu bar. This is because they actually allow you to post little audio clips. So let's say I have a niece who interviewed my father when she was in college. So this would be back in the 1990s. And I have that interview on a cassette tape. My goal is to take that cassette tape, break it down, and digitize it. And then I probably can't put the entire interview on because it's too long. Let me see what they say here on, they don't tell you here how many megabytes, but I can put it in little sections. So you can actually store audio bites. I've listened to a genealogists from FamilySearch.org talk about the future of their website, and they do see them eventually allowing videos, but of course that is so much memory. Until technology advances a little bit more, they're not sure how they're going to do that, but down the road, I think they're also going to allow us to put little videos into memories here. So anything that's totally extraordinary or precious or I treasure as a document or a photo, I'm going to put it in FamilySearch.org's memories because I know it can be saved there. This is the church's site. It doesn't cost a thing. And I think the church has made a vested interest, as most of us know, in family history or genealogy. And it's going to be around for a long time to share for generations. So I am sold on this as far as this is where one of the places I'm going to also store. Okay, enough selling on that. And here's our little menu bar. Let's move over to this menu bar over here on the far right side above the gallery. This is kind of your organization tab. And if I click on this down arrow key, I can organize my gallery a number of ways. And this allows me to work with it too. Every photo or document or story you put in, you have to title it. So I can list them all alphabetically. And that's what I just did. I strongly recommend once you get going into memories, figure out a way that you're going to title your photos in your documents and then stick to that technique. This one here is out of order. Aaron Simmons. I have chosen to put their surname first and then their given name. So Aaron Simmons, I need to edit that and flip that around and make it Simmons, comma, Aaron. That way I can find them easier. I find it's easier to search and it's easier to find them when I do this alphabetical listing. So here's Arbogast, that's another surname in my family, Bolton, and then we get into the C's, and this is alphabeticalized all the way down. Now, if I clicked on my photos, again, it's also going to alphabeticalize them all. Or I could just go to thumbnails, all of them, and then all listed alphabetically. So what else can I do here? I can also find all those I don't have a title to. So why would I have a title on these yet? Sometimes, let's say I've had a family reunion and I've brought in 12 pictures from that family reunion from 1958. Sometimes I'm just excited and just my goal or my aim is just to get those photos into memories here on FamilySearch.org. And then I'll go back and I'll work with them and put the details in. So if I click on no title, it brings up not as many here, but photos that I have not labeled yet. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a few minutes. I can pull up ones that have not been tagged. And what does tagging mean? Tagging associates this photo or document to the tree. So if you haven't bought into doing the tree in FamilySearch, you're not going to be interested in tagging. But if you are, it's an amazing feature. And I was just going to kind of show you a little bit of this little photo right here has not been tagged. So this is a great aunt of mine. Great. And this is Susie Simmons, and she has not been tagged. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, it says click the image to tag. So if I click on her, it brings up this little square, and I can move the square around if I wanted to tag the chicken. But I don't. I want to tag Susie, and I can make this a little bigger because you can also use this as a profile picture. I have some other ones of Susie that I like better, but this one is adorable of her. And here I can put down who it is. So I know this is Susan. And right away, when you start typing, if you've been to your tree, it kind of knows what Susans you might have in your tree. And here she is, Susan Phoebe Simmons. So I'm going to bring that there. And it brings her up here. And now it has put this photo in her profile page. And if she was with a brother or a sibling, I could tag them and it would also put this photo. So once you bring a photo in, all you have to do is tag the people in it, and it puts that photo into their profile page. So if I go to Susie here and go to her profile page, Here's all the data I have on her from the tree, and then down, where's my memories? Right here's memories. I click on memories, and here are the pictures I have on her. So it puts that picture right in her profile. So that's what tagging is. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Let me go back to memories and over here to our bar. So if you had photos or documents that hadn't been tagged yet, you can pull those up. Not in an album. We're going to talk about these albums over here on the far left side in just a minute, but here's private and public. So you can make your photos private, and even if you attach them to the tree, if they're private, and this is a new feature they've added just since COVID. So let me show you my private ones are mostly all my current photos of my grandchildren and great nieces and nephews, which I have a slew of, as you can see. So see the little lock? The lock means they're private and nobody can access these pictures but me. I would have to undo that and make it public. So I can put these in their profile page. And of course, because they're all living and their photos are private, nobody's going to be able to access them. So that's a beautiful feature they've added. And then I can bring back up all my public pictures. And usually if they're deceased or it's a group picture, I keep it public. But it's up to you on what you want to do. So that's what all these arrangements are. Okay, I'll go back to titled. And now this little thumbnail right here is the same as almost the one over on the far left. It's putting them into a thumbnail feature, but there's another feature. You can toggle back and forth between a thumbnail or to a listing. And some people might like this better. This is a little tiny thumbnail over here on the far left. It has their names, and then it's got the event date, the event place, and if you've got a tag. And you can work from this screen if you wanted. So it allows two different ways to access your photos and your documents. And the little magnifying glass is to search for any photo in this collection. So let's say I was looking for my maternal grandmother's family, which are Cronins. Here are all the Cronins over here listed. Of course, this one I haven't, I got the name in backwards, so I need to work on that and correct it. So you can search for a family name. Okay, so again, you got a menu bar at the top. The first one over here is to divide them by type of memory: photo, story, document, audio. And then over here on the right, you've got how you want to arrange them or how you want to go work on them. Because this is your workspace too. This is where you're going to go to work on uploading data on that photo and information about it. Okay, so now let me see what I wanted to do next. Sometimes I get sidetracked and I leave something important out. We're going to go over here to the far left side and look at this over here. And I'm going to go back to my gallery and thumbnail. Maybe. Oh, I got to go over here to do it. Okay. So over here on the far left side, if everybody's with me, at the top tells you your total number of memories. I have over 800 photos, documents, and stories here. And it just gives you an idea of what you're working with here, which is nice to have these ways to arrange and find them. But you can also, because it's so massive with 800, I can put them in collections, and that's what these albums are. But before we get there, my archive. The archive is a place to put maybe photos that you're not sure you want to put it in yet, or you want to work on it later, or just in questions. So you could put it over in your archives and then click on archives and go there to work on those things right away. Recently deleted. You can delete duplicates. You can delete one that comes in and it's too fuzzy and blurry and you're going to go find something better. And what's interesting here is they keep them in the delete folder for, I think, 120 days, 4 months. So if you make a mistake and you want to go back and grab it, as long as you do that within 120 days, it's still going to be there. So FamilySearch does know we make mistakes. And then bookmarks. Bookmarks to me are also another way you can mark something you want to come back and look at. But you can also, and I'm not going to go into this in detail, but you can also go through the tree, find a great grandparent maybe, who somebody else has added photos and documents. And you can go look at their album and you can mark it with a bookmark and then go back and look at it. So I've got 9 bookmarked here. And if you notice, this one, they're mostly put in by me. But this one here I found on my, this is my Mayflower ancestor, and somebody else had posted this. So I bookmarked it, and now I can go to it real fast by going to my bookmarks. So that's what that little tool would be. So now we're going to talk about albums. So you can create a new album here. And what I've done is created my albums with surnames, but I also have subjects. For example, I have one here called My Dad's Military. And so these are just photos of my father from World War II. And I have them in one album. Now you can put photos and documents in more than one album. Okay, so that helps. I have him in my Simmons family folder, but I also have him in my little personal dad's military folder here. When you're in a folder, you have another menu up here on top. You can do so much in this. It tells you who the album's by, because if this is posted out on the tree, it tells you where this photo's from, so who posted it. Oh, I love this feature. It's share. Now, FamilySearch is probably ahead of most of us baby boomers who do genealogy. The millenniums and all those younger ones, they're used to this, but you could share this to Facebook. You could share it to Twitter if you have an account, Pinterest, WhatsApp, which I have no idea what that is. I have not ever used that one, but you could also email this and copy the link. So they really promote you sharing your information with others. A lot of time, my sisters are not into this genealogy. In fact, they think I'm a little crazy because I get a little obsessed with it. But when I do find something really cool, I like to email them and tell them about it. And now I could take this link and put it into an email to 3 of my sisters and say, hey, look at all these. I've got Dad's military documents and photos all together in this little folder. So, or album, they call it. You can delete this album if you wish. You can reorder the photos. I love this feature. So if I wanted to move this picture of my dad over here to the beginning, I could do that. Or I could put all the photos at the beginning if I wanted to, and then you save it. Okay, so you can rearrange it. And the reason I think they've done this, and this is another great feature, is you can create a slideshow. So if I click on that, I can play the slideshow. And isn't this cool? And it just goes through these photos in this album. So you could put it on your screen as a screensaver. You can send this slideshow to somebody else. You could post it on Facebook. It's just amazing to me. And then up here is the share item again. How did I get to? Okay, I don't know, mouse, okay. I lost my mouse there for a minute. So anyways, I can stop this. And down here at the very bottom, if you see the little black rectangle, there's even a place where you can go in and set the timer for how many seconds you want, half, a half, 0.5, 0.75 for this slideshow to work. So to me, this is just an amazing feature that they have here. And did I tell you it's free? Okay, let's move out of the folder. And another folder I thought I needed to show you, because when we talk about memories, sometimes we forget that memories can be more than documents. So in my Wilcox family, I actually have the Wilcox Bible. And so I photographed the cover of it. Here's the cover inside page. And then for documentation. And notice I have all these tagged. Every person is tagged. So every person under this column for marriages has a copy of this photo on their profile page. So you want to remember that memories are more than just documents. Oops, there's the story. My mother was named after this aunt of hers. This is my great aunt, and I have her silverware. So I have a picture of what that silverware looks like, just to show everybody that this was this beautiful silverware that was probably purchased back about 1890, 1900, turn of the century, and it belonged to Aunt Blanche. And then their tombstones. Well, I'm here. Notice up here in the upper right-hand corner is a word public with a little globe by it with an arrow. This is where you can make a picture public or private at any time. All right, I'm gonna go back to the gallery, and here are all my albums over here. Now, do I have all my photos in an album? No, remember I come over here to this organization menu tab, and I can come over here and click on not in an album, and it brings up all my documents or my memories that I have not put in an album yet. So it helps you in your organization. All right, I've showed you and had the tour. We're now going to go to work and talk about how we can bring photos into this. Don't forget, if you have any questions, put those in the chat. I see there's 7 things there now, so hopefully there's a few questions you've got for me. And we'll get to them here in another maybe 15 minutes or so. The little plus symbol right here, and it's hard. It's real easy not to see this. It took me a while. I didn't even realize this was here, but this is the Add Memories tab. So when you click on the Add Memory, it comes up with a disclaimer. FamilySearch is a family-oriented site and is intended to be appropriate for all ages. All added memories are public unless you change them to private, and you should review the submission agreement and the guidelines. Now, FamilySearch.org is owned and run by the Church of Latter-day Saints, and they're very conservative on what is acceptable here. So if you have any beach pictures with too much skin on, even though they're in their bathing suits, those might not make it into the acceptable viewing. So they're going to look at every photo that comes in, which is good. Nobody's going to put something in here that we don't really want to look at. They're going to screen it. But they have very tight constrictions on it. So I wanted you to know that. If you read their guidelines, you'll understand that. So in the middle here, you can drag and drop files to upload, or you can choose files. So this would be to go to your computer. We're going to come back to that in a minute. This little box right here, use the file names as titles. Now, if you're a person who saves your photos and your documents, and you have a standard way that you name them, you might want to click that, and then you won't have to title any of your photos or your documents. They'll just bring the title in that you used on your computer. I'm not that uniform, so I don't use that, but it's available if you want to by just clicking in that box. It also tells you here they support all types of format, JPEGs, TIFF, BMPs, and then down here are the audio, MP3, M4A, and here's how much. You can have a little audio clip up to 15 megabytes, okay? So this is just information that's telling you how you can bring your memories in. If you wanted to create a story, they've had a little tab right here where you can go right in to create a story. You can add up to 10 photos, give a title to your story, and then start writing it. Personally, I like to use my OneNote or a Word file, create my story, gather my pictures, and then I bring it all in. And when I get to story here, I just use cut and paste. Okay, notice public and private up here at the top. Again, you can make your stories private if you don't want to share them. Personally, I think the whole goal is to share, but I can understand why some people would want to make something private. Now, this is another great tool. It will allow you to bring photos in from Instagram. Let's say you have a niece or a nephew or a grandchild who uses Instagram and sends you a photo. You can click on here and go right into your Instagram account and pull that photo in. You can use Facebook. You can use Google Photos. So I was going to show you how easy this is. I'm going to click on Google Photos. It's going to go into my Google Photos. And just this past Sunday, my daughter had, she teaches school and has Farmer Steve from Hardin County brings in animals. And he happened to be at a birthday party in Louisville and brought them over to her house for her children to enjoy. So these are my most recent pictures. So I could bring these in. I'm starting to get a little particular about the pictures because you just don't want volumes. You need to be choosy and select good photos. So I might select 1 or 2 out of this collection. Okay, but this is my Google Photos. So you can go right into that. But most of us are going to go into our computer. So we're going to choose files. And I have some photos saved on my desktop here that I was going to use today. Let's see if I can get the desktop to come up. And here they are for the presentation. Okay, I'm going to bring in a photo of my grandmother and her brother, which hasn't been. So I'm going to tag it. I click on it, and then I go down to open at the very bottom of your screen, just like you would to open up a photo. And it's going to bring it into my gallery. And notice it's over here. It's the next picture in my gallery. And it says it's processing it. Well, they're screening it, but guess what? You can still work on it. So I'm going to show you what I would do to work on this picture. I'm going to double click on it. And it brings you into a workstation where if this were a document, it would do the same thing. I can add a title. So the first thing you want to do, and she's a Putman, I'm going to add her surname and then her name and her brother, Forrest. Okay, now one thing I forget to do a lot is I put it in and then I'm ready to move on. I forget to save. So sometimes I have to put it in a couple times and then remember to save. You have a little menu bar here too. So let's show you what you can do. If the picture comes in and you need to rotate it, you can do that. You can download this picture. I can add it to the album right here. So I'm going to do that. Add it. Here's all my albums. She's in the Putman. So I'm going to click on the Putman family and down at the bottom here, add to album. And it's automatically put in the Putman album. What other actions can I do? I can change this. If it was a document, I can change it to a document. I can move it to that archive, that little storage space where I might come back and work on it later. And if worst comes to worst, you decide you don't want this photo, you can delete it. The bookmark puts it into that little space where you can come back and work on it. But you can also share just one picture. Again, you can share it to Facebook, you could share it as an email, or you can just copy this link and put it in a text message if you want. Okay. You have this little bar over here on the right or the far left. This is pretty familiar to everybody. You're going to zoom in or zoom out. Okay. This one centers the picture so you can get it when you want. So it's really a photo program in a way. And then you can go full page, which this one's been stretched a little bit. So we're going to go back. All right. So that's this information here. Public or private. Since my grandmother and Forrest have both deceased, I'm going to leave this public. And then I'm going to tag them. Okay. So we're going to tag June 1st. I'm going to put that there. Now you could make this larger if you wanted. You could do the whole picture of her. It's up to you. So this is June. And here she is. It knows my tree and I've been working. So I'm going to put in June Elizabeth. But here's her brother. And this is Forrest. And here he is, Forrest Lee Putman. I'm going to click on him. And it just put this picture in his profile too. So both of them have this copy of a photo in their profiles. And I don't have a picture of him. So I would go back, click on this space and bring in his little profile picture. Then you have this detail information. You can put tags. I could tag this as Putman family, or let's say my father's World War II. I would put in World War II as a topic tag here. But I kind of don't do that with personal pictures. Event date. Well, Grandma was born in 02, and I think Forrest was born in 04, and he looks about 2 years old. So I'm going to say about 1906. Okay, And it's not going to do that. So I'm just going to put 1906 and come back and work on that maybe later and save. So you want to save it every time. And they lived in the little town of Henning, Illinois. And here it is here, Henning, South Ross Township, and I'm going to save it. And then I could give a description, and here it tells me I've already added it to the album, but I could add it if I hadn't. I could add a story now about June being the third child and Forrest being the fourth child born to this family and give a little bio on it. And then it tells you who's contributed and what the date was when it was contributed. So that's how you would bring a photo in. I'm going to real quickly here bring in a document for you. So I am going to go to the plus sign where I add a menu, add a memory, choose file, and I'm going to go to my documents here. And I think I'm going to do the obit. Let's see, here's my great aunt. Oops, that's already in. Let's do that again. Choose a file. Let's do. Okay, we're going to do Andrew Lincoln's death certificate, and it's still screening it here. Let's see if it, yeah, there we go. Okay, so right away it brings it in sideways, so I can go to actions and I can rotate it right. And this nice, you don't have to go back and do it in your program. You can do it right here in FamilySearch. I'm going to add a title. So this is a Simmons ancestor, and his name is Andrew Lincoln. So we're going to give him a name. And I usually kind of do a little abbreviated. I'm going to put DC, so I know right away this is his death certificate. If I look at a list of names, I'll know that's what that is. Okay, now we want to come over here and click, but there's no people in this. This is a document, but you know what? I want this document tagged with Andrew Lincoln. So here he is, the name of the deceased right here. So we're going to tag Andrew Lincoln. Move that down. And hopefully when I type this in, they're going to say, oh, here's an Andrew. Is this who you want? And this is who I want, Andrew Lincoln. So I'm going to click. So it's added his name up here and he's been tagged. Now, guess what? His wife is in here too. So I'm going to tag her. So you can tag multiple people and it's going to go into each of their profile page. So here's Elspeth Leighton, and she's been tagged. His father's here, so I could tag his father, Aaron. And there he is. They know who I'm talking about. They know my tree. And here's his mother, Phoebe Rexroad. Whoops. Yeah. Oh, I know she's got an O in her name. There she is. It does help if you know how they're spelled in your tree. So now I have 4 people tagged. This document will be in each one of their profiles. And then I could go on and add this data. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to try and wrap up a little bit here. We've shown you how to share documents, photos, and albums. I'm just going to give you my conclusion here on what I think of this website, and I think it's amazing. It's a very powerful tool. I think it's a great place for you to preserve your photos and your documents, even if you don't want to do that tree, but I think it's beautiful if you add it to the tree, because then people can recognize it. You can share photos that way with other people, cousins, nieces and nephews, and for generations. Who knows, 40 years from now, which one of my great-grandchildren might be into genealogy and will be able to access all these photos that I put on FamilySearch. So you can keep your memories, you can protect your memories, and you can share them. So with that, I hope I didn't go too fast. I'm going to open this up to questions. So,
Do
Betty,
you want me to read these off? Okay.
yeah, read them off. I'm going to stay in memories here because they may want me to
Right.
show them. Okay,
First, Donna Broster said that she wanted to thank you for the handout, and I do too. Several of us do.
good, good.
Let's see, Susan and Bill, how do you search for stories and memories? I think you went through that at one point where you click on the book for the stories. Is there
Yes,
anything
yes.
else you wanted to add?
These would be my stories. But to search for others, you would just have to go to that find. There we go. Back under memories here, you've got people and find. You might plug in a name of an ancestor and see. I'll tell you right off the bat, there are not, photos and documents are the biggest collection that most genealogists are putting in here. There are very few stories that I have found other than mine, but hopefully more and more people will start to put in stories.
Good. All right, Alice Bratcher said, when you have locked photos in your account, if
Yes.
you pick the bucket, how can someone else unlock photos in the future if they don't have your name and password for FamilySearch?
That is a great question, Alice. And in the last webinar I was on with FamilySearch, this is one of the things they are working on. They've had a lot of people ask that. So all mine that are locked, unless I leave my password and my username in my will or in my book for what to do with all my websites that I belong to, you should think about that too. Is all your websites that you're a membership to, if something would happen to you, could one of your ancestors or somebody, or one of your ancestors, one of your children, one of your, whoever would be your executor, could they get in and access those and shut them down, or access them? In this case, you wouldn't want to shut it down, but you might want to make those pictures public. And right now they haven't come up with an answer, but they're working on it. The only way that it can go from private to public is for somebody to get into your account and access it. So you would have to make sure you leave your username and your account password to FamilySearch with somebody to do that. Right now is the only way. Good question though, Alice.
Howard would like to know, can people use your photos if they are public?
Yes, they can, which, thank you for that question. You might, if it's an older photo and you are the one that owns the original, I know like on Ancestry's trees, they'll download that picture and then upload it and they get credit for it. I've learned that if you have a photo that you want people to know this is your photo, get into a photo program that has a watermark feature and put a watermark on it. I have one that the watermark says, photo in possession of Nancy Roberson. And it's real light, but you got to put it somewhere where they're not going to just, crop out the head or crop out. I kind of put it across the tombstone or across the person. And a watermark is very, very light, but it's prominent enough that you can see that that belongs to somebody else. So I would suggest if there's photos that you don't want to share openly without getting credit for it, go into a photo program and put a watermark on it before you bring it into memories. Yeah.
Okay. Pat Meyer has a question. Do you have a limit to the size of the photos you enter?
No, there is no limit as far as I know of. And I know a gentleman, I work over at the Family History Center, Chris Coleman. He has over 1,000 documents in his memories that he backs up his tree with. It's just amazing. He puts every page of a will, all his deed records, everything is put in his documents, and there's no limit.
I don't
No
know
limit.
if Pat is saying number or actual physical size. Is it make it
Size.
do size? Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
I've
how
not
many
seen it.
pixels or something? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I understand that question. Then she's wanting to know a picture size. No, I don't think there is.
Okay.
I've not run into
Alice, Alice has another good question. Military photos on FamilySearch, have you put them also on fold 3?
I do add them on fold 3. I'm not as avid as I should be putting them over there. But again, that's another place to save your photos is fold 3. But It's a paid-for subscription that's for profit. And what happens to Fold 3 in the future, we have no idea. But it's a great place to also add those photos, tombstones of your military ancestors. Yes. I've done a couple, not very many, not as many as I should.
All right, Carolyn Rainey says, how do you scan your photos?
Good question. Carolyn, I use my cell phone for everything now. When I use my cell phone to take photos, and then it goes in, it's backed up on my cell phone into my personal photo gallery there. And I have a switch on, so it puts them into Google Photos. So I'm backing them up in 2 places, but I just use my cell phone all the time now. I used to have a copy machine with a scanner on it, but I got rid of it. I just use my cell phone. You can get an app for scanning, but I have found that the cameras on phones have improved so much that you can scan photos just with your personal camera on your phone, or you can download an app that will scan. Usually you have to pay for those. And then just recently, I have an iPhone. Just recently, I realized you can go into your, what is it called? List. Let me look at my phone here for a second, because I didn't know this. Your notes on your iPhone, and you can scan now right into your notes. So that's another way. So Carolyn, I just used my phone.
Wonderful. Judy has a question, how to transfer pictures from Ancestry to FamilySearch?
I don't think there's an easy way, and I have done this. I have found that I've uploaded a picture to Ancestry, and I want to put it on FamilySearch, and I can't find the folder. I can't find it. Sometimes I don't name them enough in my own backup photos on my computer. So I'll go to Ancestry and I bring it up on the screen. I've used my phone to take a picture off the screen, or I use Clip It, and I'll clip that photo, save it to my computer, and then upload it from my computer into FamilySearch. So again, use Clip It or Snip It, I guess it's called, snipping, the snipping tool. You can snip that picture and save it. Or if you want, try using your phone.
Thank you. Howard added the website name in case there's people on here who are not familiar with the Kentucky Genealogical Society website. It's kylgs.org.
Yes, our website. And don't forget, this recording, if you want to watch it again, it's going to be on our website probably in about a week. And you can go back in and watch it, or you're welcome to email me with any questions. I'm more than willing to get back with you on that.
Okay. If an, let's see, John Weeder says, if an image needs to be cropped, should it be done on my computer before uploading to FamilySearch?
You can do it on FamilySearch, but I don't like that tool so much. So I would crop it before I uploaded it to FamilySearch. And see, I would upload it. I mean, I would crop it, work with it, put a watermark on it if you want to. You can darken and lighten it and work on that photo in a photo program. And then once it's all ready, then pull it into FamilySearch.
Great. Carol Smith adds, it's a great presentation as usual, Nancy. Thanks much. Pat Meyer said, we always appreciate your hard work in making these presentations, Nancy.
Well, thank you.
Someone named AM says, a good point of having your estate planning up to date, including all your accounts and passwords.
Yes.
Margaret Wilson would like to thank you also. Pat Meyer was referring to the size of the photo, which we kind of figured out by then.
Yes.
AM said, good point on the watermark. Also add a copyright to those pictures in your watermark. I copyright any photo in general. I have members of FamilySearch steal photos from my cousin's wife's Ancestry public account and upload them to FamilySearch. My cousin's wife had no permission from directly from the family members to publicly release their photos. Even if you delete the photo off FamilySearch, it still says in the log, it still stays in the logs. I have had FamilySearch physically remove those photos. Okay. John Weeder would like to know, is there a way to upload an image of an unknown ancestor, perhaps associated with possible surnames?
Well, that would be possible, and then anybody who's searching for that surname would find it as they pull up those photos with the surname and maybe help you. I would even put in the title, looking for name of ancestor, maybe put the surname that you think it is. That's possible because you have a lot of people working with photos now and searching for them on that universal tree.
Okay, AM has also another comment. If you take a photo from somewhere else, at least ask permission and cite the source and person to give them credit as mentioned.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Deborah-
on Ancestry, I do that a lot. When I pull somebody's photo that they posted into my tree, I usually respond by thanking them for posting it. And if you do it straight from Ancestry into a tree, it tells you who that photo came from. It's when you download it and then pull it into your tree that that person doesn't get credit. But yes, you should give credit to whoever posted that photo or the document.
Thank you. Deborah Camposano says, wonderful, helpful presentation, Nancy. Thanks so much. Cindy Cruz, thank you. I use memories, but don't utilize all the tools and didn't even know they existed. I will have some fun with this. Great presentation. And that's kind of the end. But I did want to find out, will this recording be on the YouTube channel? Or that's where I thought most of the recordings went and not on the website?
They go on the website and the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yes,
All
I've
right.
done both. Yeah.
Very good.
If you go to our website, though, well, they're both. We have a listing of almost all. I mean, you can see any of the videos that have been permitted to be shown on YouTube are also on our website. So if you're a member, you can go through our website to get to those videos. I think it's a little easier than go through YouTube, but you can do both.
But if you're not a member, you have to go to the to YouTube.
Yes, and navigate it to get there.
Okay.
Yes. You would search
Thank
for the
you.
Louisville Genealogical Society, and then there'd be a list of videos. I'm sorry, Betty.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've only looked on the YouTube, usually from links that are sent. So I'm
Yes.
kind of-
It's under documents and programs
For our website.
on our
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I should navigate it a little better.
Everybody has their own way. Well, good. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending today, and see you next month.
Thank you.